Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
The doctor will see you now.
Oh, you can hear me okay, right?
I can hear you just fine.
All right, great, man. The only reason I asked, Daddy's got a new microphone to make sure it sounds okay.
You sound great. You sound great. But I figure this is one we haven't really opened with.
Yes,
and dare I say, right now in the business, in the wrestling business, top 5.
100%. She's, and she's come a long way with her skills. She was somebody who, when she started out, was just Adam Cole's. Literally, that was it. She was Adam Cole's girlfriend, and she broke her nose. She had a horrible ACL injury, leg injury, knee injury that required surgery. And once she came back, it feels almost like when she was injured, she was studying tape with Adam Cole and learning from Cole and all that. And when she came back, she was a more complete character. She started doing those bits from the wheelchair and the scooter, and she was a role model and the whole thing. It's great to see.
You know what? It's one of those, in my opinion, it's one of those things that the best, and this is going to sound so horrible, but it's really the truth. The best thing that ever happened to Britt Baker was getting injured.
It's weird to say, but you're right.
It really is a fucked up thing to say, but at the end of the day, it gave her time to work on one of the most important fundamentals of the business, and that's being able to tell a story and being able to cut a promo, and putting her in that wheelchair and still having her relevant on TV week after week, even though she couldn't get physical, and worked on that promo work, was absolutely phenomenal. And then behind the scenes, and you could tell she's working with Adam Cole. Forget about the fact that that they're together. Even if we didn't know that, you see influence in what she does in the ring that Adam Cole has been doing for a very long time. So it's just, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, Adam Cole is the real deal. She's getting better. She's a great heel. I could do without Rebel. I've never been a fan. She drives me nuts.
Yeah, but the purpose of
it's about Britt Baker.
Right. The whole purpose of having Rebel there was somebody who could get physical when Dr. Baker
when she couldn't be
injured. And she just, she kind of kept that
the way they did it was absolutely perfect. And I gotta tell you too, that's another thing about AEW, and I don't want to get too much all over the place, but this is one thing also about AEW that I appreciate. Somebody like Britt Baker, and we can also use Stark as an example too.
Oh, yeah.
Stark legitimately broke his neck. So obviously he's going to be out for a while. And instead of just putting him on the shelf, he had a meeting with Rhodes and Khan, and they said, now's the time to go out there and cut a promo and show who you really are. Yeah. And keep yourself relevant by staying on TV, just not getting physical until the doctors give you the clear, and that's something that a lot of times WWE does not do. I'm not saying they don't do it all the time, but it seems like AEW is doing that a little more often because you don't want to, out of sight, out of mind in the wrestling business. The business just keeps going, whether you can go or not. Which is something like Brandy Rhodes has been vocal about, that she's worried because she was out with the baby and this and that. And by the way, you can hear this if you watch Rhodes to the Top. In case you didn't know, I have caught up.
I was kind of shitting on that
by the way.
show, you know, because it's just it's a reality show. It's a typical reality show, so I was kind of shitting on it.
It's
But I'm not,
great
like,
though.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's just a fun show.
Not only that, you get to see some of the behind the scenes stuff
That's
with
very
Tony Khan,
interesting.
and so you get another look at the business. You get to see them being themselves and not just the characters. So that for me, and
Yeah,
it's
but
a
they're
very
weird.
if they're weird, absolutely, but it's
They're so weird.
Cody and Brandy are hilarious, and they're very good together. And then there's sentimental shit with Dustin, and just it's
Oh, yeah.
really fucking cool.
And
If
then you got
you
the
haven't
sister.
watched the sister, she's a piece of work. But listen, you do not fuck with the Rhodes name, and I
Nope.
can't shit on her for that. But if you have not seen it, they're only 30-minute episodes. There's only like 4 or 5 of them, and the season finale is coming up. So definitely check it out. If you like Ms. and Mrs. and Bellas and all that kind of shit, there's no reason you're not going to love this. And you do get to see a lot of the behind the scenes shit. You get to really also get to know Tony Khan a little bit and just really and really understand how much he really is a fan and why AEW is so successful. I mean it,
Yeah, that's very cool. He's you can tell he is a fan. He's like a wrestling nerd.
Oh, 100%. Like, and it's great.
And he also, I like that Cody allowed them to film segments that they thought were going to go well that ended up going poorly. And
like the scale shit with Big Show, it was awesome to see how that all played out.
And to see when things went too long, or like that match with the Go-Go when Tony Khan was like, hey, we got to, there was the segment, the weigh-in was going too long, and then something was going on with the match, and when they cut back backstage, you could see like Tony Khan in the background, like, hey, wrap this shit up. We got to go. Like, he was on top of it. So he sees when things are going south and kind of pulls the ripcord on that.
Listen, you got to remember, at the end of the day,
it's his show, man. It's
his
money.
He is Vince McMahon of AEW. He's that guy at Gorilla with the headset on. I mean, I
think he's actually like Eric Bischoff because.
All right, I'll give you that. He's more like Eazy-E.
Too much shit. He talks too much shit.
Well, Vince, and that's the thing. Like, Khan's been talking some shit lately, talking about how he's got more money and that how he can't wait for the battle. And listen, I give Khan all the credit in the world. I've said it on this show many times. I will repeat myself again. I am just terrified of it becoming another WCW situation. Too much too soon, too much money, and now they're out of business.
Which would be the absolute worst. It would be devastating. Again, to have something for 2 or 3 years and have it be really special, and then for something bad to happen again. Because there was, when you think about it, we talk about the Attitude Era as a whole, and we kind of go from 96 with Hogan turning on, Bash the Beach. And then we talk like the reformation or the formation of Degeneration X as another like entry into the Attitude Era. Mike Tyson and Stone Cold, that WrestleMania with Shawn Michaels. But then, by like 99, 2000, it's done. Like, that sweet spot only lasted a couple years and it was taken away from us. And I don't want that to happen again.
I'm here. You didn't lose me. I promise.
Okay,
I'm listening. So where should we really, we got to start to focus because there is a lot to cover. You got Crown Jewel, which is Thursday at noon. So I will not be watching Crown Jewel until probably not until Friday, if not Friday, Sunday, if I can. Right. It's just, it's the first Crown Jewel I'm actually excited for, and I can't watch it live, so I'm kind of bummed, but it is across the world. It is what it is. So you got Crown Jewel coming. We have the finals now of the King of the Ring. We know the Queen Crown Court deal. And then of course we always have AEW to talk about because AEW is just fantastic. Where, Vince, would you like to start?
Man, there is an awful lot to talk about. I guess, The big headline is that on Friday, SmackDown, as we were talking about it last week, did an extra half hour commercial free to go to 10:30 to try and affect the ratings of AEW's Rampage, which starts at 10 p.m.
From what I understand, too, Rampage AEW won.
So it was an interesting situation where the overall, and this is what happened a lot whenever NXT won a night, it was very rare that they would win the overall ratings and then also win the demographics. This was a situation where SmackDown had more viewers, more total viewers, but in the 18 to 49 demographic, AEW was the winner, and most of the audience that AEW had was in that demo, and then WWE's ratings go up because they have their audience skews older into the 60s. A couple of weeks ago, it came out that the average age of the NXT viewer was 62 years old.
Wow, really?
So that somehow the show that's supposed to appeal to a younger audience is appealing to the oldest possible demographic.
Now, hold on.
This was NXT 2.0.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do we know what it was when it was not 2.0 and it was just NXT?
I don't
know. Has it really changed that much because they rebranded it?
Lost. I don't know if it's necessarily because they rebranded it, but I think they were losing even as of I remember last summer listening to podcasts on some road trips, and it was talking about the ratings and how the teen male demographic that NXT had that was slowly going away. Like every week it was just going down. So there was a point over this year where, I don't know, something happened where the focus, I think what it might have been was, when I was a teenager and I watched wrestling, I wanted to watch the most exciting show. And if AEW ended up being the more exciting show, then those kids probably stopped. NXT had a lot of good things going for it. And then when they stopped doing these, hey, every week's a championship match or a number one contenders or a street fight or a no DQ or something special, then you just had your regular NXT matches. And the regular head-to-head NXT versus AEW, just your standard run-of-the-mill match, the AEW match is going to be, sorry, that's my opinion, I think is going to be more entertaining for somebody who's looking for a wrestling program as opposed to somebody who wants a WWE style and sports entertainment program. If you're looking for wrestling and you were watching, let's say you were watching NXT as a teenager because of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, the whole Undisputed Era, Tommaso Ciampa, guys like that, and then all of a sudden, the guys that you liked aren't there. Some of them aren't there anymore. They've been replaced by like Braun Breaker and all these big powerhouse guys. So like the little cruiserweight guys that can wrestle, that was the draw of the show. That would be like WCW taking away the cruiserweights and then wondering where all the audience went. It's right. It's kind of baked into the whole deal. The guys that people wanted to watch are gone, and the guys that people, the new guys just haven't. Not that they won't, but they just haven't found their audience.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's a weird. So it's a weird situation here where WWE can claim victory because they have the overall total viewers. AEW can claim victory because they won the demographic. The AEW can also. This is another weird one. The Bunny and Ruby Soho tied in the demographic with the Roman and Brock Lesnar segment.
Interesting.
But the WWE segment, that half hour, was commercial free. There were 6 minutes of commercial in the AEW half hour. So when you take those, what happens is audience will go down about 20% over the commercial break because they're going to flip channels. With the calculations that they ran, basically excluding the 6 minutes of commercials, Ruby Soho and the Bunny technically beats Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. On paper, it's a tie. The numbers are exactly the same. But when you take out those 6 minutes of commercials and average them out again, the women's match beat Brock and Roman in the demo.
That's very interesting. Well, listen, you know what? It's good entertainment for all. I mean, that's really after you look at it. And I will say this. If you look at what WWE is starting to do, and when I say starting, I mean starting. So this is gonna this is gonna take a while. We're having the season premiere now. All of us well, out of our ass, we're starting a season premiere. So we're gonna have the season premiere of Raw. We're gonna have the season premiere of SmackDown next week. All the drafts are gonna be fully in effect, even though we've seen a lot of it take effect anyway. However, one thing I have started to notice, and this is only something that's good, and you have to just be a typical WWE fan, and you have to just forget and pretend that these things never happened because we're starting over, and it's a story. It's like a new season. It's forget about anything you remember because
they're going to reboot.
But if you think about it, they're rebranding Karrion Kross again. They're rebranding Bearcat Lee again. Whether we like the name or not, he's going to be a heel and he's going to be a fucking animal. Yep. So you have that. You have Austin Theory, which I've now watched 3 matches of his with Jeff Hardy, and I've seen him cut a promo, and I've got to tell you, this kid's the real deal. They do it right. This kid's going to be a star. And I mean, he's good looking. He's got the build. He's the right size. The gimmick, I like the gimmick. I like the whole selfie thing and everything else. I have a good feeling. So these are young guys. You have Donovan Dijakovic, which what I'm hearing is he's going back to that.
Please.
So the point I'm making, if you think about it, and I mean Keith Lee, maybe not so much, but at the same time, if you think about it, they're taking the quote unquote younger guys and they're starting to build on them. One of the things that separates AEW away from WWE right now is that WWE is relying on the roster that's 40 and up. Mm-hmm. Whereas AEW, you've got these young guys like MJF fucking killing it. You've got Inner Circle with the exception of Chris Jericho, but you've still got a lot of young guys there. Yeah. You got the Luchas, you got the Dinosaurs,
There's a little bit for everybody. It's a buffet.
You got Darby, you've got Britt Baker, you've got all
FTR.
This Rose, FTR, exactly.
Guys that they got left behind, like FTR and Sean Spears.
You've got Arn Anderson Jr., you got Brian Pillman Jr., you got all this young talent that you're displaying on a regular basis, and it's Black. Exciting. Malachi Black.
Oh, he's killing it right now.
Oh, fucking A. So if WWE continues on this track, and they start to come up with some new matches that we haven't seen, versus each other. I'm not saying come up with some stipulation match, right. and less of the Fugazi bullshit finishes, like a phenomenal match like we had with Charlotte and Bianca. Phenomenal match, and as soon as I said that out loud, she gets DQ'd with a steel chair Fugazi finish. But if it's less of that and more building of the younger talent, led by a Roman Reigns and whoever else. I see good things, Vince. I really do. But it's all going to come down to what we always say. It's going to come down to the writing, the creativity, and if the wrestlers can pull it off and win over the crowd.
Yeah, man. And, it's nice to be hopeful for once because it does seem like at this point they've I don't want to say they've admitted defeat, but it's almost like they recognize AEW is now officially competition and they have to act as if there is competition. So they're booking things, automatically you saw NXT start to kind of book hotshot stuff. Didn't work. What they're doing now is what I think is the right idea, and I think you're on the right track as well about the finishes, because that was the first thing I was going to mention when you were done. They are bringing up these guys. Austin Theory, I think, is a great example of a younger guy that doesn't have a following now, or if he
I have a great feeling about that kid. I'm telling you, I have a great feeling.
He's got and that's a guy, but it's like watching Shawn Michaels still in the Rockers. You're like, this guy's good, but he's not there yet. Austin Theory's on his way. Some of these guys you got to give time.
Well, listen, I will say this.
You got to get established.
I will say this. They must have a lot of faith in what they see if they're starting him off right off the bat against somebody like Jeff Hardy. I think even though I hate seeing Jeff Hardy keep losing, although I think this is leading to something different. So it's okay. I think it's the right pairing. I think Jeff Hardy is a great teacher, and I think working with him, Jeff Hardy's gonna make Austin look great, and I think he's gonna really help coach him along the way. I think it's a good thing. With Jeff Hardy, a lot of Jeff Hardy fans, and listen, I'm a Hardy fan. I always have been. I know the guys. I've met them 1,000,001 times. They're great guys. At the end of the day, this is leading to potentially a heel Jeff Hardy Willow turn, which is something different in WWE. I still don't know how I feel about it myself, but
well, here's the thing:
if he keeps losing, he's gonna go heel.
Well, I don't even know if he's gonna go necessarily heel, but because here's the thing: Willow can be a babyface in air quotes and still do weird, spooky things. Like that's kind of the Willow character. Is like he's not.
Well, we did see kind of both. He was kind of heel, kind of face,
right.
So he can do either way.
Right. So it would be interesting. So whether it's a baby face or a heel, I'm imagining. I don't know. I think that they're rewarding this kid, Austin Theory, who did a good job with the storyline from NXT leading up to the big wedding, and he was in The Way, if I'm not mistaken. That was his. He was with Jordan Gargano and them, and I feel like him. Just picturing in my head this kid being chased around backstage by Willow, and like he's trying to hide, and then paint cans and shit fall over, and he's spooked, and he runs out of the room, and then like Willow's hiding in a cardboard box or some shit like that. When I hear that in my head, I think he's gonna do a good job with that, because you already know Jeff's gonna do a good job, but I feel like him responding to a wacky character like Willow, Austin Theory's, I think it's going to show a lot of personality. It's going to be an opportunity for him to show a lot of personality.
Well, you're right, but that's also if that's where this is headed.
If that's where it's headed. But I
because
just personally, I would love that.
Like this, they've already had 3 matches, and technically Jeff has lost all 3. He may move on to somebody else, although of course the last one was pulling of the tights, and it was dirty, and then Jeff got the
last laugh.
Jeff got the last laugh after they did the selfie deal, but great segment.
But technically he won, right? But technically the kid won. Austin Theory won, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but technically all 3. So how long they keep that going, or if this is what's going to bring it Willow, I guess it really all depends too if it's going to be heel or face. If it's going to be a heel, then it doesn't make sense to continue with Theory.
Right? That could just be the tipping point. Like, oh my god, I lost to this.
Because right now they need to keep Theory heel for sure. I like him as a heel. So. But we'll see. So, I mean, we've been really talking about Raw. We gotta. I want to say this. I want to jump right to. First of all, I thought this was actually a pretty decent Raw. I specifically watched the entire thing without fast forwarding, just to see if I could actually get through it. I did it today.
Oh, okay. All right. It was a challenge. I get it.
It was a challenge. I had a
I
shit
thought you
ton
were
of.
saying it was so good that I didn't fast forward.
No. I had a shit ton of laundry to fold, and I said, you know what? I'm going to fold all this laundry. I'm going to watch it without fast forwarding, and let's see how I do. And I have to say, overall, it's getting better. I think the matches were pretty good. Of course, I wasn't happy with some of the finishes. I liked a lot of the segments. I did think it took a little bit to get us to our first match. But that's not to take away from the promo work that was done. I thought that was a great segment. But overall, I enjoyed Raw. I want to jump right to this, and then we can kind of jump around Raw. I'm very excited for Xavier Woods, Finn Balor.
I can't. Here's the problem. I'm excited for Xavier because this is a thing that he's been pitching for such a while, for years since he made up the main roster. His goal was to get the King of the Ring tournament back, and ultimately, like as he says on social media and on Up Down and everything, he wants to be the King of the Ring. This is something that he's wanted for a long time. But I'm just so like I'm like, oh no, he wants it so badly, and WWE always does that thing where they yank it out from you at the last minute that Finn Balor's going to win.
Well, here's what I want to say. On paper, first of all, forget King of the Ring, whatever. On paper, this match could steal the show. These two guys,
opportunity to show off as a singles competitor.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah. And we've seen what Woods can do singles.
Oh, I mean, I know he can go, but what I'm saying is this could be like a
breakthrough.
Right, for people to take him as seriously as they take Big E. I'm not saying he's going to be world champion like now, but this could be a way for him to break out and be considered as a singles title holder like Kofi and Big E.
When I saw him celebrate his win into the finals with Kofi on the platform of the King of the Ring, and they did the fanning, and you can and he's doing the whole all hail King Woods and the James Brown. I know how much, just as a fan, that he wants to be King of the Ring. He grew up watching King of the Ring. You know what I mean? He's always been a wrestling fan, and I want nothing more than for him to become the King of the Ring. Does he go over on Finn Balor? I think something has to happen. I think there has to be Finn Balor's next challenger.
Right.
To get involved,
that's the only way
for it to happen, and I am seriously hoping that Xavier Woods does win. I think it'll be entertaining as hell. But what do you think of those two? I mean, that match should be outstanding.
Well, let me just put it this way, and I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit because we're talking about Raw. And you're right, Tara. I mean, this is one of those things, and it sounds kind of cheesy, where you go, the real winner here is the fans. But it's like, for real, this match could,
well, they are
be the fans, regardless of who comes away with the crown. But I think here's what I'm looking at. Finn Balor's a made guy everywhere he goes. Not that Woods isn't, but I feel like he's missing that singles achievement. Balor's won world titles. He's won intercontinental titles. He's won titles in New Japan. Woods was the tag team champion in TNA and a tag team champion on SmackDown and Raw. Woods needs a defining singles win, and winning the King of the Ring with all the meaning it has behind him for him as well. I want this to be his moment, because then
it'll be hilarious, too.
Right? Oh yeah, because Kofi, you can say, okay, Kofi won the world title, Big E won the world title, Woods is King of the Ring. Maybe Woods is the next one. Maybe the New Day gets.
There's a lot of things story-wise you can do with that. You're right, 100%.
But Balor, they can just go, the Prince has become the king, and he's the Demon King and the King of Darkness and all this other shit. Like, I already see where they could go with the evil, dark, kind of like Lord of the Rings Sauron bad guy crown, or like a Loki crown or some shit. You know what I mean? They're going to have him all dialed up like the demon with an evil crown. I can like, and the problem is that's a toy. And that's it's a Funko Pop. It's a Hasbro toy. It's a whatever.
Yeah, but you know what though? They have Xavier Woods New Day, and now they could do like a New Day package with both champions and King of the Ring.
You know what?
Like, there's a lot of shit they could do too.
If
right?
They did a 3-pack with Big E and Kofi each holding a world title, and then Woods with the crown. Oh yeah, I'd be into that.
You know what I mean? So there's shit you could do for both ends. I'm really just hoping they give it to Woods. I really do. I think, like Finn Balor doesn't need it. And there wasn't, somebody's got to fuck up Finn Balor. Like something's
got to fuck up Finn Balor.
I mean, we got to make these guys happy. And we got to send them home happy. And what would be happier than Xavier Woods and the New Day celebrating? And Big E's going to be there, so they can all come out and celebrate. And then they're going to have a coronation ceremony. It's going to be fucking amazing.
Right. And the only way it would be better is if they brought in Mo from Men on a Mission as their, remember from King Mabel, and then Mo was his sidekick. Sir
I
Mo.
remember. Yeah.
We could have Sir Mo. Oh, wow. Sir Kofi dressed like Sir Mo.
Oh my God, dude, it would be amazing. There's so many things they can do. So Tara Tara feels that Finn Balor has really just dealt with a lot of shit and that he really deserves it. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but I think Xavier Woods, in my opinion, Xavier Woods deserves it more. You know, this is a guy that literally had to claw his way through the business. And it wasn't until the New Day became a thing that he actually became somebody. Nobody gave a fuck about Xavier Woods. People were begging Finn Balor to come to WWE. You know what I mean? So
you go, Consequences Creed, the guy that tagged with R-Truth and
the guy that had the Apollo Creed from Rocky gimmick back in TNA.
Gimmick. Yeah. And then the most notable thing that Consequences Creed, in advance.
He puked in the ring?
Yes, that was
it.
Exactly. The only thing you remember
it was amazing.
Is he puked in the ring. And 10 years later,
projectile. It was fucking amazing.
God. But
I've watched it in slow motion.
People to remember the shit like that. But yeah, that was his most notable moment. Literally, and then he got brought up to the main roster with the Funkasaurus, and he took the Funkasaurus "Call My Mama" music for some reason, and he was just.
Oh, you're right. I remember that.
They really didn't have anything for him. He dressed like the Black Power Ranger. I mean that as the color of the Power Ranger, not the color of his skin, but I guess it's both in this instance. And then they announced him from Angel Grove, California, which was the Power Rangers' residence in the town they grew up in. So they had literally nothing for him. He was like with the Funkadactyls until the New Day, which to go from puking in the ring in TNA to being managed by the Funkadactyls, which is almost a death sentence, to being in one of the most successful factions of all time.
You know what's amazing though that you
Hall
say
of
that,
Famers.
And you know what's amazing you say that. And I remember when the New Day promos were first happening, like they were coming, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be dead on arrival." Mm-hmm. And look at that now; they're Hall of Famers. I mean,
would have if they kept it the original plan for them to be like black Southern preachers.
Oh yeah, it would have been horrible.
Because I mean, already, unfortunately, when you grab a group of guys that are all of the same race, the wrestling fans will go back in their encyclopedia brains, because we all have them, and you go, oh, they're going to be like the Nation of Domination. If it was 3 Hispanic guys, you go, oh, they'd be like Los Boricuas,
right,
or the Mexicools. Like, you're going through to find who you think they're going to be booked like.
So fucking true.
And then they did, the great thing was that they did the opposite of what you would expect, because you kind of expected, especially with, they were kind of dressed like Malcolm X and had like the Malcolm X style glasses. So you almost expected a militant African-American kind of thing that, would work for some people. And then some people would turn some people off. They took it in a way better route. It wasn't about them. It was always about them being black performers and showing that being an African-American performer in wrestling, you can succeed just as much, as the white performers or the other performers of other races, despite not having held world titles until, the last 10 years or so. It was always about that, but it wasn't, it was positive. It was the power of positivity. That's the phrase. The way that they approached it was from a different angle, and it was inclusive rather than exclusive. It made you want to cheer for them because it made you feel like a part of a group. It wasn't something that made you feel like, okay, well, this group, it's good for the people that like them or the people that are like them or similar to them, but it's not for me. You can look at those guys and say, okay, even though I might be a different race from them, or even though I like, Big E probably listens to different music than I do, whatever, but you can still go, okay, these guys, stand for something, and they have charisma, and you like them, and you can get behind them. So
their personalities, it was their personalities.
It's just great, and that was the thing. It was the wrestling is, we often say this, you got to be able to wrestle, but even some of the greats kind of only knew the basics. If you have a good personality, you can get really far in wrestling. These guys just happen to be blessed with all of it. They have good personalities, and they can wrestle their asses off. So
all three,
all three of them. The great thing is that they all three wrestle differently. They're different size guys, different styles, brought up in different ways, but they're a cohesive unit.
Yeah,
and it's great. When they're singles guys, you can see them. You get that specialness of seeing them as a singles attraction. And then when they tag together as tag teams or a three-way, I mean, they put on these combo moves and they work together really well because they are legit friends in real life. So you can see how well they work together because of that relationship. And it shows there's something that you can't circle. There's something that you can't talk about. That is just their performances when they work together. They elevate each other and they motivate each other, and that's something that's it's intangible.
There's something to be said when they make it very clear to WWE management that when they go their separate ways and they end the New Day, that it's not going to be a heel turn, that nobody's going to turn on each other, that we're just going to do our thing, because to them that meant something. Because every single faction, every tag team in the wrestling business, eventually RK Bro's going to end. And, all these are going to end. But this one didn't end the way it normally does. And now they still get back together when they want to. And it's great. It's done the right way. And it just shows you how much they really, truly give a shit about each other.
Yeah, man, it's great to see. And again, they've got a mix of Young and Kofi being the oldest guy in the group. But Kofi, I feel like, Kofi's one of those guys that could probably, depending on what he does with his style, could wrestle forever, or at least be around as a manager and still take bumps and stuff forever.
Oh,
so
for
even
sure.
If he wants to stop wrestling, he could still be involved. And Big E is a guy that they've invested in finally. I mean, this was somebody that when 10 years ago, he was with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee, and we're like, why the fuck is this guy in the background?
He was really just like a bodyguard. He wasn't really.
And people were clamoring for him to be a champion for so long, and now that he's there, he's a long-term investment. When they put the title on a guy like Big E now, and the way they're booking him seems like even if he loses the title down the line, they are going to keep him at this he's not a mid-carder anymore. He is a main eventer, and they feel confident enough that he's going to be able to carry the brand, which is awesome that they finally have the faith in him to allow him to do that.
Oh yeah. And it's well deserved. He put in the work. I mean, he's a monster. He's fucking great. I can't say anything enough. Yeah. I'm very happy for him. And I do hope that this is one hell of a ride. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind. I don't think for 1 second right now that McIntyre is winning that match.
No, 0.0. Especially because he's going to SmackDown.
Oh, right, that's true.
He's got to get beat on his way out. That's the way you do business. But
that's why I was surprised with that ending with Charlotte. And
yes, all right, thank you. We got to talk about this shit. How many we've gone 38 minutes and we've only mentioned the finish to that match once.
Yeah,
that offended me on a deep personal level. Like, what the fuck?
Well,
it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and you give me that finish.
Well, yeah, we were going to have to really talk about that, and then what we think our picks are going to be for this shindig over in the Middle East.
I don't even fucking know. Holy shit. I mean, obviously, that's a, foregone conclusion for the WWE title match.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about the main event, which I have to say was a phenomenal match.
Yeah, great match. Up until the finish.
Well, right. I mean, and it's funny because, as I said, I watched the entire thing. And so I'm watching, and I'm by myself, and I said out loud, I said, wow, this is a great match. Because we don't see these two one-on-one often. And, so it was nice to see, and they can both go, and the chemistry's there. And I said, wow, this is a great match. All of a sudden, the chair to the gut, and I was like, oh, typical WWE. You just fucked up a phenomenal finish or a phenomenal match. And it's just like, if you were going to keep the belt.
He's so exasperated.
Well, it's so frustrating because it's like if you were going to keep the belt on Charlotte, then have a double count out. Or I'd still be pissed about that, but A chair shot to the gut. I don't know, man.
Right. And because I think the rationale was, well, Bianca can't lose another match, but then don't have this match. You just didn't. If that's going to be the finish that you're going to put on, despite it being a good match, just don't have it. Honestly, I'd rather you don't have the match until you feel confident enough that you can have a decisive finish. And if that means Bianca going over Charlotte, which, let's be honest here, I assumed Bianca was going to win. So
I did as well
on Raw. And also because there's that chase for 16 world titles that Charlotte's going after. So in order to get there, she's got to lose the title a few more times. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. It sets
Vince,
up a loss.
you and I were thinking exactly the same way.
But this is where you go. We think now we're going to talk right now. We think that the writers thought we were going to think that. So because they thought we were going to think that, they did the double reverse and said, okay, well, we're not going to do what you think we were going to do.
All right. So instead, just give us all right. So great. So give us a Fugazi finish.
Right. Yeah. They were like, no, they're going to expect the clean finish. So we give them the fuck. But realistically, we all expect the fucked up finish now. Unfortunately. Hi, Kat.
Hi, darling. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I don't know if you've been keeping up with what's going on, or if you want to drop in and talk about we're on the main event of Raw, but realistically, we're talking about Raw and then leading up to the Saudi show on
It was the
Thursday.
only thing that was prevalent maybe to Monday Night Raw last night was the main event, so didn't miss much.
I don't know if you heard, Steve decided that he was going to watch the entire show without fast forwarding.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't be. I actually enjoyed Raw. I thought Raw was actually pretty fucking good. I have to say, I enjoyed it. I was not happy, as we were just talking about the finish to Charlotte and Bianca. But at the end of the day, I actually enjoyed Raw. I thought
better Raw than the past couple of weeks. I will that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I liked the promo with Riddle and Orton. I liked the match. I like to see the Street Profits back. I thought it hit well. I did enjoy the show. I thought it was,
Street Profits.
I got to say, I even liked the bullshit camera on camera Goldberg Lashley promo. I didn't think that was half bad. It sounds like, we're going to have a murder on our hands in the Middle East.
My friend asked why Goldberg's eyes were closed. I was trying to figure that out too.
Did you see what Dolph Ziggler said on a podcast this week?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
What is it?
About him asking, do you ever fear dying in the ring or anything? He goes, I don't fear dying in the ring unless you book me in a match with Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
Who said that? Dolph Ziggler?
Yep.
Wow.
Like, I'm not afraid of dying in a ring as long as you don't put me in a match with Dolph Ziggler.
Have you seen what Goldberg did to the poor guy?
I've seen what Goldberg's done to a lot of people.
Oh, man.
And,
yeah.
Kayfabe or not, issue with his whole thing with his son going on. I'm kind of scared for Bobby Lashley on Thursday, not gonna lie.
Yo, I can't believe we are actually talking about damn near 60-year-old Goldberg actually beating Bobby Lashley.
Isn't that
in Saudi Arabia?
Let me tell you something. There is not a doubt in my mind that Goldberg is not winning that match.
Correct.
Ooh. Okay.
He has to win. He has to win. I can't see in a million years Goldberg loses, especially after what happened at SummerSlam.
He does get special Saudi Arabia powers. Like, that's his superpower right now is being it's the sun in Saudi Arabia.
Kryptonite in
Yes.
Saudi Arabia.
Right, yes. Somehow everybody that faces Goldberg in Saudi Arabia gets their ass kicked. So who knows?
They almost died. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, you can't. The good thing is, one of them was the Undertaker, and you can't kill the dead man. So
correct.
But he came pretty damn close.
That's the closest the dead man's ever came to getting.
I mean,
yeah.
Come on. I mean, track record in Saudi Arabia. I mean, I know Saudi Arabia, their favorite wrestlers are Yokozuna and the Ultimate Warrior, and that's who they want to see. But you're taking,
all the dead guys.
You're taking what's pretty much close to that and putting them in the ring.
Oh, stop. Listen, at the end of the day, Goldberg looks a lot better than a lot of the guys his age. I mean, if you're going by look, I mean, yes, he's dangerous in the ring, but I mean, listen.
Look is fine. I'm talking about what he does in the ring.
Listen, it's no holds barred, so it'll be a lot of
really feel a hell of a lot better.
Well, yeah, because you're not expecting much wrestling, so it's going to be a lot of chairs and fucking kendo sticks probably and shit like that. So I'm good with that.
10 years from now, Bobby Lashley will have a CTE.
I love that Steve described Goldberg like you would describe an old Pinto. He's like, it looks good. It's on the it'll kill you. I'm like, yeah.
I am a car salesman.
What are you gonna do?
That's right.
I guess I'd probably have to. If you're not old enough, the Pinto had the engine in the front. So if you rear-ended somebody, your engine, like your gas tank was in the front and the engine was in the back. So that when you rear-ended somebody, your gas tank would catch on fire and you fucking die.
Yeah, it was smart.
Watch Speed. Sandra Bullock compares the bus to a really large Pinto.
So, but that's how Steve just described Goldberg. He's like, he looks great, but he'll kill you.
I said he might. I didn't say he would.
Good mileage on it before you.
That is definitely the car salesman attitude.
That's right. Yeah. Listen, as long as it starts and stops. Yeah.
I'm in insurance. That's the same thing that I tell people.
Pretty
like,
much.
Listen, do you have wheels? Yes. Are you not dead? You're alive? Okay, good. We can fix cars. We can't fix
condition.
people.
Great. Your deductible's good. Exactly.
Exactly. We got to, as long as you got four wheels and an engine.
We just marketed ourselves brilliantly right now. Stop on in.
So yeah, so
Crown Jewel
will give you a really hot chip on the way out too.
Yeah, I guess we should really start to tackle Crown Jewel and our picks. Like I said, I'm actually pretty excited for this fucking pay-per-view, which I'm surprised, but again, I won't be able to watch it live. Kat will be able to watch it live. So we got let's start with Roman Brock, which that segment on SmackDown, by the way, was fucking hilarious. Correct. Brock Lesnar just stirring the pot again and says, what Roman says, he's such a dumbass, he didn't read it. And Brock's like, I didn't have to read it. I had Paul Heyman read it for me.
With my personal advocate, Paul Heyman. Yep.
Right. So he's stirring the pot.
Did he say dumbass afterward? Because I feel like Brock Lesnar should have said dumbass right afterward.
No, it was he said it after Brock Lesnar signed. Roman smirked and said, "What a dumbass! He didn't even read the contract."
I love the response of not just Brock, but then the crowd when Brock said that, which was actually the crowd and not the piped-in noise that we have on Monday Night Raw. Because goddamn, is that obvious on Monday Night Raw? Anyway, so I think. Listen, I think these guys, for the first time ever in this feud that never ends. I was young. I didn't have a beard when this feud started. Literally, I was a young man. I had my whole life ahead of me when this feud started. And now it feels, I don't know. It just feels like it's not, but this is the first time where you're like, yes, there's something different. And I don't know if the match is going to be different because it's the same guys, but at least the promos have been different. The whole vibe has been different. Brock Lesnar has been changing up his character. Obviously, the last year or so, Roman Reigns has completely changed up his character. But to see Brock at a point where he's comfortable talking and being like, he's never been that guy. Yep. Now he's that guy, and it's like, well, where's
he doesn't say much. It's very short, sweet, to the point, which is perfect.
Yep. Where's this been all my life? I used to hate watching Brock Lesnar because he couldn't fucking he could wrestle, and then he couldn't cut a promo. So you'd always have to have somebody nearby. And now
it's like he's just having fun now.
But Paul Heyman. So I don't know what's going to happen to the finish of this match. Paul Heyman,
see, that's the one thing. I mean, this is one where we're really walking in and we really don't know which way to think. I mean, my gut is telling me I got to stick with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, it's like you don't bet against Charlotte, but here's the thing. Paul Heyman said...
Yeah, but how often do you bet against Brock Lesnar?
Yeah. Paul Heyman
That's the problem.
I'm walking in with the Universal Champion, and I'm going to leave.
And I'm walking out.
So when he says that, I don't know if you folks remember, there was a time where Paul Heyman said the exact same thing to Brock Lesnar and The Big Show.
Survivor Series 2002.
And
I was there.
Brock Lesnar got turned on by Paul Heyman and fucked out of the title. So are we being set up again? Is Paul Heyman? Here's the thing. It's like, do you ever trust Randy Orton? Do you ever trust Jake the Snake? Do you ever really trust Paul Heyman? What's he gonna pull?
Trust me.
I just feel like, I don't know, man. I agree with you, Steve. You can't bet against Roman, and I'll probably be picking him on my pick'em. But as a fan watching it, just going, I want Brock to win this one. I just want to, like, I'm okay with chaos, because I feel like Brock beating Roman doesn't keep us from getting to Roman versus The Rock in 2023. They're not even talking about for this WrestleMania. They're talking about for next WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is not going to hold the title for 3 years straight. I don't think. We're going to cut to, like, this clip is going to be played 2 years from now of me going, they did it. They fucking did it. I said it 2 years ago. They weren't going to do it, and they did it. But I feel like they're not going to do it. I feel like
that's too long.
This could break it up. Brock gets the title. Roman kind of does some other stuff in the upper mid, and still in the main event, but away from the title. Somebody beats Brock, and then Roman's the new challenger for this person, and whatever. Eventually, we get to WrestleMania 2023 for our Rock match, if it happens. But I mean, Jesus, I don't know. It's great. It's a toss-up. Have we ever had a match that we really feel this way about, where we legitimately don't know?
I think the last time was Warrior Hogan.
Yeah, seriously. Because, I mean, that one you were like, holy shit, like, how does Warrior not win? But then you were like, how does Hogan lose?
Right. Yep. Yeah, we are immovable force, irresistible object, man.
Yeah. The only other time I think it was even close to that was maybe the loser must retire match again between Warrior Savage at 7.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that was...
You had no idea how either one of those two matches were going to go.
Man.
But in modern era, no.
Yeah, there's never really been a lot of these matches you go, okay, yeah, we kind of know the finish, or we get the idea of what's going to happen.
Like what the pick'em's going to be like, oh, yeah, this is obvious.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, you guys don't get to see our pick'ems, but I do. We see them every month. We're pretty in sync.
Yeah.
It's never like somebody gets 2 and somebody gets 7. It's always like 5. Like if there are 8 matches, somebody will get 7 or 8, and then everybody else will get like 5 right in the middle, and maybe there's like a straggler or 2. But like usually there's a block in the middle where we're all picking the same matches. Yeah, and this is a big question.
Picking Lana to be the last survivor. I think you and I were the only two that did that.
Lana is the best. Lana's number one.
Anyone else predicted that one except you and me?
No, I don't know what. I mean, that was
all right.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
here's you got to get through like a bunch.
Here's another one. So we have the Women's SmackDown Championship. We have Lynch, Belair, and Sasha. This is another one. It's either going to be Becky Lynch retains or Bianca wins. I don't think Sasha's winning. So that's a tough call too. I mean, do they give it back to Bianca or does Becky retain? This is a perfect way for Becky to lose without getting pinned. So, but then you're also saying that Sasha's going to lay down. So, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Who's on SmackDown in that group though? Just only Sasha, right?
And Becky is going to Raw as of the
draft. And Bianca. Oh, that's true.
Sasha's the only one remaining on SmackDown.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Charlotte's bringing the Raw one to SmackDown.
So
Until Survivor Series.
So,
or what if Charlotte inserts herself, and it's a 4-way for 2 titles? And
I love that idea, but it's not going to happen.
No, I know that, but I was just, that's the thing online. People are like, well, if Bianca didn't win on Monday, maybe they're going to change it to a 4-way for both the titles for Thursday. Yeah. But I don't think they'll do that out of the blue. But it would have been, man, realistically, if you want the title on SmackDown, it's got to go with Sasha. But I just don't see her. I'm doing the wrestling math in my head, and I don't see her beating either of them right now. She's not been on like a particular hot streak. She like literally just came back. Becky came back and had way more momentum because she won in like 28 seconds or whatever it was. Not like Bianca. Yeah, I mean, unless they do the lame, because here's the thing, they've already set the precedent of the tag team champions switching brands and then just having that brand's belt. So what if we have a changing of the titles moment between, if everybody retains, if Charlotte retains, because she retained last night, and then Becky retains at Saudi Arabia, and we have a moment on Monday Night Raw, like a tense, here's your belt, here's my belt kind of trading thing. And then they just switch.
See, I see that happening at Survivor Series, like between the two of them, like because the brand matches.
So they would keep the title on the wrong show for like another couple weeks, which I mean they could do. It doesn't matter.
So we'll have to see, and we'll circle back around. We have some time before we fill out our sheets, but we got a few more to get through, and we got 5 minutes left. So we got Big E, Drew McIntyre. I say Big E's keeping
Big
the belt.
E, easy peasy.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're all in agreement there. Lashley, Goldberg, we're all in agreement is going to be Goldberg, right?
Oh, man, I might do a last-minute flip-flop, but I also feel like the Goldberg superpowers in Saudi Arabia, you know what I mean? Like, there's too much precedent that he is almost unkillable in Saudi Arabia, so I feel like maybe he wins.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I'm going to go Goldberg.
I'm sticking
Rollins, Edge, Hell in the Cell.
Edge.
It's got to be Edge.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's got to be Edge. Unless Edge is going away for a little bit. But we'll see.
I feel like Edge has lost too many of these big matches. Like he has to get one back.
Well, right. That's
don't forget.
What's that?
Edge won SummerSlam. He just lost the MSG match. So they're one apiece.
Right. Yeah.
I just mean in general, since Edge came back, like he lost at WrestleMania in a pretty big fashion. You know what I mean? Like
everybody lost at WrestleMania in that match in a pretty big fashion.
One of them lost so bad he went to the other company.
RK Bro versus AJ and Omos. I'm gonna stick with RK Bro. I think they're gonna keep the belts.
I might dissent on this one. I'm like 60-40 RK Bro, but something about I don't know, little guy, big guy. Vince loves that kind of shit. I feel like the Saudi Arabian people are going to look at this 7-foot tall guy and this 5'2" white man, and they're just be like, "What? This is like a sideshow kind of thing," and they might be into it. So, I'm 60-40 RK Bro, but that could be another like the Lashley one. That could be a game time decision for me.
All right, that's fair enough. Then we have King of the Ring finals. That's a tough one, but I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to go with who I want to win. I'm going to go with Woods.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though, like, again, I'm ready to be crushed again. I'm at that point where I just know I'm gonna sit there and be hopeful, and we're gonna get stuffed out. But I'm still gonna pick him. I'm still picking him because of the power of positivity. I want him to win, and we're gonna put that out there. So Xavier Woods, Austin Creed, we want you to win.
Dewdrop. Are we all in agreement that she's winning at Crown Jewel?
I feel like she wins, man.
I mean, I can't see it any other way.
There's too much opportunity. Again, Vince loves this kind of stuff. He's going to put the big girl in the
she's
crown
good.
and the cape. And she's good. No, she's good. But,
Yeah, I don't know if you guys talked about it or not because I wasn't here, whatever, but that was a freaking classic pin she did on Shayna Baszler last night. I absolutely loved that spot.
Oh, yeah, but I wish
that was good.
All of these women's matches have been under 3 minutes. Like, I just wish the whole tournament, not just that match, the whole tournament was given more time.
No, I agree, but that was actually a really good
it was a clever finish. I just wish they gave him a little more time for people to show people that this dude, I mean, Zelina Vega was on like a year-long losing streak or whatever it was until they finally gave her some wins leading into the tournament. And Dewdrop was with Eva Marie. Like, I would have wished they gave them a little more time to establish, to see like, hey, these girls are legit, rather than, hey, they all won matches that were 3 minutes long. But anyway, we're we're here. There's
Man-
a match, and I think Doudrop. Yeah, I think Doudrop wins.
Mansoor versus Mustafa. I go Mansoor.
Mansoor.
To me, that's a done deal. And
That would
that's
be-
it.
yeah,
That's your card.
Oh, we didn't miss anything, did we? No, that's it. 9 matches
That's
in and
the
out.
whole card. In
That's
and
so
out.
good.
And we are right at the top of the hour.
Wow, we planned that out pretty well. Thank you guys for sticking with us this week as we go through Saudi Arabia WWE Crown Jewel live on Thursday at noon Eastern. So we'll do our pick'ems and we'll let you know what happens next week. Personally, if you can't tell, I'm still setting things up in the new basement studio, hence the cardboard boxes and all that wonderful stuff. If you're checking out the show for the first time, welcome. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. Be sure to follow us on social media at TagMeADate. That's TagMeADate, no spaces. Look for us on all of social media, just with at TagMeADate, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope. Just if you put it in the search bar, you're going to find us. Trust me. If you go to youtube.com and search for Tag Me a Date, you're going to find our channel. You can like and subscribe. You can hit the bell to get notifications for when we go live. If you are on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/war report. And that's all one word, war, the word report, all one word. We go live 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday evenings. In 2 weeks, there's going to be daylight savings time. So just, check your clocks on all that stuff to make sure that if you're within daylight savings, you're going to follow us. If you're not within daylight savings, there are some places in the U.S. and some places internationally that don't follow daylight savings. Just make sure you're aware. The best way to follow us and not have to worry about the time we come on is to hit the bell on our YouTube page or to subscribe or favorite us over on Twitch. And we'll just, pop up in a notification. Otherwise, if you would prefer to take an audio version with you, whether you're doing laundry, going to the gym, you're in your car, whatever it is that you do throughout your day, and you want to listen rather than watch the show, you can go to your favorite podcast app of choice, such as Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play Podcasts. You can search for either The War Report or Tag Me a Date, and you will find our podcast. Hit subscribe. The last 5 or 6 episodes, audio only, will be uploaded to your device. And then every week, if you stay subscribed, Ryan grabs the audio, and usually within an hour of the show going off the air, the audio version is pulled and uploaded to the podcast app. So you aren't going to be too out of date if you listen to the podcast as opposed to the video. You'll just be an hour or 2 out of date. So if there was any breaking news, we missed it too. Anyway, we'll be back next week for another edition of the War Report on whatever platform you happen to be streaming us from. If you have any friends that are looking for a new wrestling podcast, please let them know we are around. We've been doing it for a number of years now. We are appreciative of the fans we have, and we're always looking to add to our community. So please let your friends know. Have them listen to one of our episodes next week. And there's no better time than next week. Have them tune in next week to listen to our breakdown of Crown Jewel and everything that happens over the week in wrestling right here on the War Report. And thank you for listening this week. We'll be back next Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern Time for another edition of the War Report podcast. Have a nice week, everybody.